Thank you, Danielle. Really appreciate the South Plainfield Public Library having me here today. It's my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Home Buyer Seminar. My aim today is to give you as much information as I can to make the home buying process a smooth one for you. So some of you may already know me. My name is Wajiha Kamal. I'm a realtor with Better Homes and Gardens M3 Realty. We're a full service brokerage servicing commercial and residential clients. But enough about me. Let's talk about the big question. What's happening in the real estate market right now? Things are quite interesting. Well, to be honest, the real estate market is like most other things of this COVID era. It's unprecedented. We have a grave shortage of homes, but we have a huge number of buyers in the market who are not only financially capable, but they are motivated to buying. What are some of the reasons that there is such an incredible pull of buyers? You have the New Yorkers, even people from Jersey City and the busier cities, they wanted to come to quieter suburbs. You have the millennials who came late to the buying game. In fact, research indicates that about 70% of contracts are signed today by millennials. So we're pretty big here. Then we have people who were working from home before and they didn't need one, but now all of a sudden we need that fourth bedroom to work as an office space. And you have families who were living perfectly comfortably in apartments and townhomes before, but now they need a backyard, an extra space, extra bedrooms. So that's really some of the reasons of why things are changing. Now, what does today's buyer want? They want to buy a home because of several reasons. They want to buy it before the prices go up further. Anyone who's been in the market for at least a couple of months knows that prices have changed. They have gone up. Someone who was looking in the beginning of the year would probably realize that prices have gone up since then. And the real estate gurus seem to predict that this will continue to happen at least for another year or 2 years. So buyers want to get in before it gets any worse. They want to take advantage of the historically low mortgage rates, which is true. They are definitely at a historical low. Let's take a quick look at what a $450,000 mortgage would look like in the 1990s. And that loan, if you took it out, it would cost you $4,175 a month because of that whooping 8%. Whereas today, the same amount would be 27 some odd. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a $1,400 of a difference, which is huge. The low interest rates make money accessible, financing is accessible for more, and it makes it more affordable. Let's look at a more current figure. So just 1 year ago, in 2020, if you were taking out, for instance, a $500,000 loan, your monthly payment would be about $350 different than it would be if you took it out today. That's a pretty big difference on your pocket per month. Anyone who bought a home in the 80s is familiar with double-digit interest rates. Yes, that's right, double-digit. People bought homes at 13, 14, heck, even 16%. And at that time, the buyer was happy to get a mortgage. Comparing that to what we have now, you can see that it's a great big change. So taking a quick look at the inventory, because we know that the pull of buyers, along with this number of homes for sale, has created this seller's market, basically. So if you take a look, 10 years ago, we had about 10 times as much as an inventory as we have right now. So yes, it's definitely a seller's market. I apologize, my slideshow is moving itself. All right, let's see. So back in 2020, the houses were on the market for half of the time that they are today. The figures that we just saw a few minutes ago, they were from January. Looking at more current figures, say for instance, this one is from March, the average home gets about 5 offers. So ladies and gentlemen, these figures are from March. Things have changed since then. If you have a home in a desirable area and it's in good condition, it will get many more offers. The reason we need to know this is because we need to know what we're dealing with as buyers and how to tackle it. Good homes in good areas go within few days, sometimes within a week or so. They're under contract and they're going above the listing price. They will have multiple offers. So a big question that buyers are wondering about right now is, should I wait or should I buy now? The prediction from our real estate gurus is that prices will continue to rise. Also, not huge differences in mortgage rates, but they will also go up as well. So if you take a quick look, next year, they're predicting that the per home that is about $323 or 324,000 apologies, will be about $10,000 greater in price next year. So the same home, the same inventory. And because your interest rate goes up as well, even though it is a slight change, you are looking at an overall larger payment. So between what we had last year to what we will have next year from the predictions, your payment will be about $250 a month different from if you had bought last year. All right, something really important that buyers need to look at the moment is getting a pre-approval. I'm hearing a lot that buyers insist that they want to look at homes first and then know they have great credit scores and they make good money, that they will get the right amount. But the reason as real estate agents that we push you to get that pre-approval early in the process is, quite frankly, it tells you what you can afford. You don't want to be looking in the wrong price range where perhaps you could afford more and you're looking, at a lower amount, or vice versa. And then the most important part of this is, if you don't have a pre-approval, when you find that perfect home and you put in that offer, unfortunately, no one will take it seriously, because the seller with this great home in a great location that is appealing to you and several other people as well, they already have several offers. So you want to make your offer as competitive as possible. And the first part of that is getting a pre-approval. Couple of signs that you're not ready to buy a home. Perhaps you want to hold it off just for some more time. If you don't have enough money for a down payment. To be honest, a down payment is the major chunk of where your cash flow would go if you were to buy a home. But then there are the closing costs. There are the moving costs. There are lots of miscellaneous costs that come with it. So if you don't have enough for the down payment itself, it won't work out for you. Having emergency savings is absolutely necessary. If you have poor credit, now is the time to work on it. So when you're ready to buy in a year or 2 years, your credit looks better and it's easier for you to get a loan. And then some people who are in career changes, you may want to wait it out. Getting a loan may be a little bit tricky if you've moved, if you've changed careers altogether. All right, right, so let's take a quick look at the home buying timeline and what steps are involved. I must warn you, this chart is from when things used to be normal. And we all know that COVID has brought some new normals. So let's take a look at it, and I'll walk you through what we're currently looking at. So getting the pre-approval is undoubtedly the first step you should be looking at. You will have a buyer's consultation meeting with a real estate agent who will answer your questions, who will also understand what it is that you need so that they can help you search for such homes, what your timeline is. Then you do your search. You start looking at homes, evaluating options, doing those tours, and then making an offer. It's funny how it says 3.5 months here. These days, if you've been in the market for even a couple of months, you realize that that's not really happening anymore. If you see a house and if you like it, you need to make an offer within the next day or two, sometimes even the same day, because the listing agents are closing the offer deadline and they're limiting it to a certain date. So their home goes on sale perhaps on Wednesday. That's typically when most houses go on the market. They stay there Monday. They might Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They do maybe some couple of showings. They do perhaps one open house, either Saturday or Sunday, not even both days. And they will call for final offers on either Tuesday or even Monday. So there's a really short time frame that you're looking at. So if you like something, what you want to do is move with it right away. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Back to the process. So let's say you made that offer and it got accepted. That's amazing. I hope that that happens for all of you soon with homes that you're looking to buy. So then your contract goes into attorney review. This is a minimum 3 business day period where both the attorneys look at the contract. If any changes need to be made, they can do that. An important thing to remember about attorney review is this is your grace period. In this time, if either party, the seller or the buyer, feels like they want to back out, they're able to do that without any penalties. So that's something to note. So once your contract is out of attorney review, you're under contract. The title company may want to do a preliminary search just to make sure that the property you're looking at is free and clear. You don't want the owner's uncles who have a share in the house and not know that they're selling, things like that. You will have a home inspection done. That's also, we'll talk about this. This is a typical pre-COVID timeline. Inspections, it seems like maybe soon becoming a thing of the past, but a home inspection is essentially where the inspector goes through the home and sees if there's any repairs that need to be made, or if there's anything that is really wrong with the home. Then at that point, you can reach out to your attorney and have the contract subsided. Then once that happens, you start your loan application process. You've already gotten a pre-approval. However, now the formal loan application starts. The financial institution will send an appraiser to the property to see how much it's worth. And then depending on that, they will decide what amount of a mortgage they will give you. Once that's done, you're looking at a mortgage commitment, which basically is saying that we're giving so-and-so the mortgage. You need to buy title insurance. Basically, these last couple of steps for closing the home, you're getting closer. You have to buy home insurance before you close on a home. Final review by your lender, then basically a closing day where you walk through the home to make sure it is what you saw it as on day one. And you go to the attorney's office, the final paperwork is signed, and basically you receive the keys for your home and the seller walks out with the cash. All right, so Something important that I feel like every buyer should be told. Unfortunately, I feel like buyers are not being told this enough. But apart from your major down payment, you are looking at about at least 2%, but up to 5% of the cost of your home in closing costs. This could be your attorney's fee, your inspector's fee, and the bank also charges several miscellaneous fees. So you want to get those stored up before you start your process for looking for a home. So a quick look at what kind of fees you're looking at. I did include that in a package that I believe Danielle has emailed to you, just so that you have an idea of how much you really need to have before you can buy that home. And quite frankly, once you've paid this, you have to remember your moving costs too. That can also be quite expensive when you've already paid all this other stuff. All right, quick look at the average span of appliances in your home. So when you're buying a home, you definitely want to know what the ages are for your appliances. This way you will know when they will need replacing. All right, so let's get to the juicy part. If you haven't heard anything else in this presentation, I want you to focus your attention now, because this is what buyers need to know in today's market. We know it's a challenging market, but these are a couple of things that if we do them right, hopefully we will be able to attain that perfect home that we're looking for. So what are sellers looking for in your offer? There's definitely the dollar amount. And we know from statistics that most homes are going over the asking price. So be fair when you put in an offer, and actually these days be competitive when you put in an offer. They will see the financial strength of the buyer. They want to know, is my buyer putting down 20% or are they putting down 5%? Are they a cash buyer or are they taking out a mortgage? If they have several offers that are similar, the major indicator of who they will go with is how much they're putting down. If it's cash offer, that's even better, but everybody cannot pay cash. So at that time, whoever is putting down more is most likely who they will go with. They want no contingencies. What are contingencies? They're basically conditions saying, it's basically a walkout clause. It's saying, if this doesn't happen, then I can back out. For instance, a popular contingency is you buying the home contingent on the sale of an existing home. These days, a seller, if he has multiple offers, will probably not entertain somebody who has a contingency to sell their existing home. The reason for that is they realize if something happens and if you're not able to close on your existing home, then you won't be able to buy theirs. Then there's waiving off the appraisal contingency. To be honest, I'm a bit uncomfortable with this. A lot of people are doing it these days in order to try and get their offers accepted. It's the reason it's risky is you have to know how much cash you have. Truth is, if the appraisal comes down really low and you've waived off the appraisal, you have to consider if you'll be in a position to add on that 50,000, maybe even 1K, 100,000 to your mortgage for a down payment, because the bank is only going to give you a loan based on what the appraisal is. And then concessions. Often what we're hearing today is waiving off the inspections. That also is let's say I wouldn't do it for my own home, especially if I was buying an older home, because you never know what's going to turn up. Uh, I understand it's a tricky market, but do you really want to put your money into something that you're not even sure of? So unless it's a newer home, a new construction goes through very heavy audit by the local authorities, the local inspectors. So that's generally not something you need to be worried about. Or newer homes built within 20, 30 years will probably not have those same problems of a home that was built in 1940. So yeah, you want to think about it. It's definitely an option, but you have to see the pros and cons. And then flexibility. If there's a seller who wants to move out of his home within a month because they have to be somewhere for their job, and you're giving them a great offer, but you're saying that we won't close for another 6 months because of whatever reason, that may not fly very well. So you definitely want to be as flexible as possible to accommodate the seller's convenience. Some other factors, you could write a love, we call this a love letter, yeah. So what a love letter is, it's basically just a heartfelt letter to the seller indicating why you want to buy their home. Often buyers like to put in a little bit of sentiment in it, talking about their children, and or maybe if they had some previous attachment to that house or to that town, they will add that in. But although a love letter may have some weight, but the truth is, if there's another offer that is $30,000 more than yours, a love letter won't quite cut it. And then an important thing is having your agent follow up with the listing agent. If you have a good agent, they will do this anyway. But in a time when listing agents are getting multiple offers, if you have somebody who's been in touch with the selling agent, this will help them help keep you in their mind if you have a very close offer and they have to decide. All right, so let's take a look at some quick things of what we can do to beat the seller's market. Keep your options open. Don't be limited to one neighborhood or one particular style of a home. Look at a couple of neighborhoods. If you're looking for good schools, look at a bunch of good neighborhoods that have good schools. And if you have a particular style in mind, maybe be a little bit more flexible there too. Keep your options open, be flexible with when you're putting an offer in, like we talked before, with the seller's convenience. You can say in your offer that we are looking to close whenever it's convenient for the seller, and then put your best foot forward. In this market where there's not as many homes, we saw that there's about 1/10 of homes that were available 10 years ago. At the same time, if you find that one that has all the requirements that that fit your bill, put your best foot forward. You don't want to lose out on their home because of $2,000, $3,000, right? Also, it makes sense to do a bit of calculation. There are several online calculators which will tell you if you were to put in, say if I'm putting in an offer on a home, if I was to put in 350 versus say 340, how much of a difference it makes in my monthly payment. The truth is the difference is minimal. So take a look at that. If it is within your allowed budget by your financial institution within that pre-approved limit, just put your best foot forward, because the way things seem right now, it looks like, from what we're hearing, that prices will continue to go up. And the same home or similar home, let's say, 6 months down the home will probably be $20,000, $30,000 more anyway. So just avail, make it your best shot, put your best foot forward, and then use an agent. You may not be buying homes every day, but this is what we do for a living. We will help you through the process, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, but even if you're a seasoned one in this market, everything is different. So it's funny, in the beginning of when all this started with the real estate market, it even took us agents some time to get used to it. But having done so many deals, and we have an idea of how to work with this. And then act fast. Since we're seeing that homes only stay on the market for few days, acting fast is imperative. You want to try and see the home on the first day of the showing. This will give you at least a day or two to think about it. It's such a big decision. And look at your options and make your decision. All right, so something I did want to talk about, let's look at this first. So a few pointers. Search for a home below your budget. If I'm a buyer and my budget is 400,000, I should be looking at homes in the 350 range. The reason for that is it gives me that leverage to put an offer over the listing price, and a good offer to actually attain the home. Because if I look for $400,000 homes, chances are it's not going to work out in this market. And then shop around for the lowest interest rate. Interest rates are definitely low right now, but one institution may be offering lower than another. And even a little bit of a difference may make your affordability greater or less. So try to find that lowest interest rate. Okay, all right. So before we talk about this, I did want to talk about a few things really quickly. I did say that I was a bit hesitant in using, in giving the waiver for an inspection. Something that some buyers are doing today, and it definitely makes more sense than waiving off the inspection completely, is that they will say if a home goes on the market today, I go see it and I really like it, I will go in perhaps like in a weekday morning time when people don't typically tend to visit homes, with an appointment with my real estate agent as well as an inspector. So typically your appointments are about 15 minutes, which is not at all enough for an inspector to look at everything, but perhaps look at the major components. So, and because it's a morning appointment for a weekday, they can stretch it a little bit. If nobody else is coming in, they might have 20 minutes to half an hour. And I definitely feel like that is much better than waiving it off completely. I know lots of people have missed out on homes because they didn't waive off the inspection, but I feel like this gives you a little bit of certainty that somebody has seen the major things of the home. Small repairs you can always do yourself, but at least there's no functional problem with the home. All right, so why use a real estate agent? So really quick pop quiz that I have for you guys. You can unmute yourself, and I just want you to shout out, how many people do you think are involved in your typical real estate transaction? Danielle, let's hear your answer first.
I think last time I said a really low number. It was really high. I'm going to say, because I can't remember the actual number you said. So I'm going to go with 35. I don't think that's the right number.
But... Okay, all right. Amanda, how many do you think?
About 10 probably.
Okay, that's much better. Anybody else want to chime in? All right, Amanda's number is fairly close. There's
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
about 16 people that are involved in the average, your traditional sale of a home transaction. That is a lot of people to coordinate with. So a couple of reasons why a real estate agent will help you, and how they will help you rather, is they will know what to look for in a home. Often when we go inside homes, especially when we have this short time frame of like 15 minutes, most homes you can't even get to go there twice. You know how it was previously a couple of years ago when I bought my own first home. You would go in the morning, you would go in the night, you would take an uncle. But now that's not the case. You usually don't get to see it more than once. So if that's the case, you'll be looking at the shiny things, right? But your real estate agent is more seasoned at looking at problems in the home. You probably won't notice like windows, or if there was a crack, if everything else looks really great. So they know what to look for. They understand the local market, how the schools are, what kind of neighborhood it is, does it match your needs or not. They definitely help you search and coordinate showings. They'll help you prepare your contract for purchase. This is a pretty big issue because people can get them into legally binding problems because they try to fill out a purchase contract, which is fairly complicated themselves. They will walk you through it. Then you have there are the 16 people we just saw that are involved in your typical transaction. That's a lot of people to deal with. And if you're dealing with a real estate agent, they already know like 5 inspectors, right? They already know 5 attorneys. And these are people that they have worked with. So when they recommend them to you, they already know, they've already vetted them. A real estate agent will keep you on schedule. So if there's an offer due today, we will, let you know that it is. If you're interested, let's go. And any other things that need to be done along the way. A buyer's agent will be your emotional filter. We've all heard of buyer's remorse, and especially in this market, when things are like, go, go, go. We don't want you to make the wrong decision. Just a few weeks ago, I put in an offer for a client. To be honest, the home was nice, but it was on the older side, and I could already see a lot of problems in it. So I explained it to them that this house was only worth X amount. And going over it would just be an emotional decision, because they probably won't get their money back that soon. Some houses, they're worth that money, putting in that extra and the over listing and doing the bidding wars, but some aren't. And they really appreciate it, and they understood what I was saying. So we put in that offer. We did not get that home, but my buyers were content. They understood that it was not worth more than that. So if they didn't make it, there's something better in store for them. And then the biggest thing is there's no cost to you, because the commission for a real estate agent usually comes from the seller's side. So there's no cost to you, but there's only advantages, especially in this market where everything is so fast paced and so tricky in a way. All right, this is the information to reach me. I can be reached on the number. You can call me or text me. I'm very active on social media, so reach me however you can. I'll be happy to take any questions now, or you can reach out to me later and I would be happy to answer those for you.
I actually have a question.
Sure.
How often are the appraisals coming back lower than the price that you offer at?
They are. These days they are coming fairly often. It does depend on what kind of home it is, like what area. Often what we've seen is even though the price is elevated, if there are other homes that have sold in the area at a similar price point, it will not be as much of a problem. So that's also where a real estate agent can actually tell you what price to put in. What I can tell you is it's not always the best idea, unless you have the cash, of course, to put in the appraisal waiver, to waive off that contingency altogether. But what you can do is a partial waiver, where you can put in the contract that I can waive it up to like $20,000, whatever you have on hand. This way you're kind of meeting them in the middle, where you're saying that we are offering you this, but not the whole amount, because you never know what that number will look like.
Yeah, you can't afford to put $100,000.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. No. So unless somebody has that cash, it's not the best decision to make. Definitely cap it if you are looking to look at an appraisal waiver, because that's just unfortunately the trend right now. Just cap it. Tell them that you will only do so much. Do your math, see what you're comfortable at, and just go with that number.
Okay, and I actually had another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been noticing that there's a lot of sold as is on the market.
Yeah.
What does that mean for a buyer and putting a bid in?
Okay, so sold as is typically means that they will do no repairs in the home. Whatever problems are in the home, if you buy it, are your problems, essentially. Previously, this would generally mean that there's something wrong with the home. And they're telling you up front, you buy it as is, we're giving it to you at a lower price, but the problem is yours. These days, because the trend is a little bit different with homes going so fast, buyers don't want to have the hassle of getting anything repaired, so they will put that in. That's also if there is a home that is listing as is, I would take an inspector with me. Yeah, you're paying that maybe $100 or so for that half an hour visit, but at least you get that peace of mind that there's nothing majorly wrong with a home.
Okay. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of them. Like, I don't see what's wrong with
Yeah.
this.
And they're coming up more and more. You're right.
Okay.
Those were great questions, though.
Thank you.
I don't think anyone else has any other questions.
All right, so we can wrap it up. If anybody else does have a question, feel free to reach out to me. Danielle also has a bunch of my cards. So if anybody needs to reach out and they don't have my information, they can grab it from the library front desk. Thank you for having me, Danielle. This is always great.
Yeah, no, it was good. And, have a great night, everyone. And this will be up on the library's YouTube page, hopefully within a few days, for anyone who, you want to rewatch and, take some notes, or you can tell, friends if they have interest, so they can go there and check it out.
All right, good night. Thank you, everyone.